Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be getting started momentarily. If we can get some of you to take some seats so we can relieve the congestion in the back, we'll be getting started momentarily. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. What a great idea to mix sports with education and economic development and diversity. Sports, economic development, and diversity. That's what we're here to talk about today. And we've kind of packaged it around the 30th anniversary of one of the historic moments in sports. When James Buster Douglas left Columbus, Ohio, flew to Tokyo, Japan, was expected to be a sacrificial lamb, came back the heavyweight world champion. Shall we celebrate? Let the celebration begin. And so what we're going to do today is give you information about the 30th anniversary of the 42-1 celebration, James Buster Douglas becoming the world champion. And I think Buster would say, equally important, we're going to tell you about the year-round programs that will be launched as part of this celebration. And then the good news is that this Party with a Purpose is a fundraiser for one of the premier charities in Ohio, Brightway Center. And so it's my pleasure at this time to bring up, one of the greatest people I know. They've really been influential, and they did something wonderful that I hope they're going to talk about today with that Franklin University piece. But let me bring up the chairman of Brightway Center. And I don't know how to introduce him, so let me just tell you his name, Clifton Spinner.
Good morning. Thank you very much, John. I appreciate that great introduction. As John said, my name is Clifton Spinner. I'm the chairman of the Board of Trustees at the Brightway Center, and we are extremely delighted and happy to be a part of this. We feel blessed and fortunate to be a part of this celebration. And let me tell you just a little bit about the Brightway Center. The Brightway Center is located over in Jefferson County, just outside of my hometown, Steubenville, Ohio. And the Brightway Center has been in the education, workforce diversity, or diversity workforce initiatives. We have been working with the youth of Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania for over the last 22 years, primarily over in Jefferson County. And so we looked at this as a great opportunity to partner with Buster Douglas in his celebration, his 30th anniversary of his 42-1 odds and his victory to become the world champion become the heavyweight world champion. And we looked at this as an opportunity to take a lot of the work that we were doing with the youth over in the Jefferson County area, Western Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and bring that to Central Ohio. So again, we've been working with young people over in the Eastern Ohio area, and we're looking forward to moving a lot of our work here to Central Ohio and ultimately across the state of Ohio. So we're very happy to be here. Our long-term goals are to focus on, as John mentioned earlier, education, workforce development, and diversity. And we thought this would be a great opportunity to partner with the people you're going to hear from today to be a part of this. Our event organizers, I just wanted to mention them and thank them for everything that they've done. Artie Douglas, John Pace, of course you heard from him earlier, and of course my good friend Coach John Johnson, Dr. Ann Wagner-Hill, Duncan Griffin, Ron Bryant, Carrie Rutledge. So we're extremely thankful for our organizers to help put all of this together. We're going to have a fantastic celebration in February of 2020. You're going to hear a lot more about that today. And with that, I'd like to introduce another one of our board members from the Brightway Center, Mr. George Spack. He's going to mention a couple of names and some things that he wants to talk with you about this morning. George Spack, thank you.
Good morning. I have a couple of resolutions that I wanted to share with you. The first is from the City Council, City of Columbus, and it was signed by Elizabeth Brown, Mitchell Brown, Rob Dorans, Shayla Favor, Emmanuel Remy, Priscilla Tyson, and Shannon Hardin. And the second is from the Ohio House of Representatives, and it's signed by Erica Crawley, Larry Householder, and Richard Brown. Thank you.
Okay, keeping it moving, it's an opportunity now for us to hear from the CEO of Brightway. And if his last name sounds familiar, it's because they are a dynasty in Central Ohio. They've been contributing to this community ever since I can remember. And so the CEO of the Brightway Center, Darrell Griffin.
Good morning. Misjudged, overlooked, undervalued. On February 7th of next year, we will celebrate James Buster Douglas's 30th anniversary of his World Championship. A local hero who overcame the odds and punched his way into boxing history. A man who dared to be the best. And yet, for me, an unappreciated champion whose recognition is long overdue. The Brightway Center is honored to be associated with this celebration, and coinciding with this event, our programs and services will help create the 42-1 42-1 stories, which celebrate those people who, during life, overcome adversities. You'll hear more about that later on. The funds generated from this celebration will also allow us to serve over 800 students in Central Ohio And finally, the Brightway Center will focus on building partnerships here in Central Ohio to deliver relevant programming to our students and the community. We look forward to this celebration and our ongoing partnerships with OMB, Only My Best, that's what it's called, Franklin University, and MCS Touch. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Darrell Griffin. One of the announcements we want to make today, and it's only fitting that we do it at the seat of state politics, we're announcing a new party today, a new political party. It's called the Human Party, and it's people who care about humans, right? And I'm just joking, but who I'm about to bring up now, if there was such a party, she would certainly be a card-carrying member, and a little later you'll meet another elected official who would be a card-carrying member of that, Senator Jay Pottinger. But the first member of that party we're going to bring up right now, she's a judge, former city council member. I'm so proud to know her, and she's been working so hard on behalf of this initiative. Let me bring up the Honorable Judge Jiza Page.
Good morning, everyone. And again, my name is Jiza Page, and I am so honored to be here this morning. I'm an honorary co-chair of the event, and I stand here as a daughter of a boxing legend as well. My dad is with us this morning, Jerry Page, who is an Olympic gold medalist from 1984. And it is an honor to be a part of this event, to be a part of this organization, because I know Mr. Douglas very well as also, and he and my father have a very close relationship, and we know, we as children of boxing legends, what they have given back not only to their families, but what they give back to our community. So I stand here as a local leader, as a public servant, in support, full support of this event, and I will be working with my colleagues across all branches of government, as we have seen here, recommendation from the legislative branch on both the city level as well as the state level, and again working with all of my colleagues to make sure that we share the 42-1 story. We let Mr. Douglas know that he is a part of Columbus, and we are so proud of what he has done and look forward to recognizing his 30th anniversary of knocking out Mike Tyson. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge. When I was 12 years old, I played football, Little League football, and I met Buster Douglas at that time. Buster was the captain of our team and the best athletic, and in the huddle, I'd be so excited and energized, and Buster would say, "Shut up, shut up." And I did. And so now they've just told me, hey, you're too excited, you're talking too loud, you're shouting at the people. So I'm going to calm it down. I just get so excited about Buster Douglas because after 20-something years, he's finally authorized us to talk a little bit about the philanthropic Buster Douglas. Before now, he's never allowed us to do it because he didn't want to embarrass the people or the families that he gave money to. So I'm so excited today. And now we're going to hear about the sports aspect of this. We talked about introducing sports with education, economic development, and diversity. And Columbus has great sports. We all know about Archie Griffin and the Ohio State University. But there's another great team that promotes sports here. And we're glad to have the leader of that team with us today, the executive director of the Greater Sports Commission, Linda Logan.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so proud to be here today to celebrate Buster Douglas and his team. 30 years ago, I know we all remember where we were watching that great fight. Also glad to meet Jerry Page today as well. And then Archie, of course, being a big part of all this. So some great iconic figures in our Columbus sports history in particular, but certainly the shots heard around the world 30 years ago are very memorable, and that were actually voted by the community not too long ago as one of the greatest sports moments in Columbus, Ohio's history. So again, so happy to be here. Again, this just is another opportunity for us to tell our story about what a great community we are for sports and what a great Ohio state we are for sports. So thank you all for having me.
Thank you so much, Linda. At 18, I went to Capital University. At 18 and a half, I dropped out. At 30, I went to Franklin University and earned my degree in 3 years. In fact, I think I earned 2 degrees. But you know what? I am so proud to have one of the leaders at Franklin University here with us today. I owe Franklin University so very much. So, Dr. Brisky, I've only got $1 in cash with me today, but I'll write you a check later. So let's welcome Dr. Brisky from Franklin University.
Good morning, all. Thank you for that great introduction, John. Thank you for your mention of Franklin University. At Franklin University, we are proud of our partnership with Buster Douglas and with the Brightway Center and all the good work that we're doing collectively together. And one of the key attributes of that is to promote education, to promote workforce development and diversity. And so we're very proud to be part of this initiative. You know, Buster Douglas, as you've heard from all of our speakers, really changed the trajectory of thoughts about what's possible. And so we attempt every day at Franklin University to change the trajectory of our students and give them the opportunity, as Buster had done for himself, to create their educational story and to further their careers. I think we're all inspired by Buster's story, and you know, he gave us all a vision of what is possible with hard work and with dedication. And if we all strive together collectively through this initiative and through all the initiatives that Franklin makes possible every day, we will hope that our students can achieve their educational success and their career success. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Brisky. And I still remember our motto, right? At Franklin University, your degree is possible. Absolutely. All righty. So we're winding it down, and thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for your patience. I met this gentleman less than a year ago when a friend of ours, Ray Jones, said, hey, there's a guy who would really be appreciative if Buster would sign some boxing gloves for him. And so Buster graciously did that, as he always does, and it gave me the opportunity to meet a man who has really already been instrumental in my life, but more important than me, he's been instrumental in the lives of Ohioans. And he is truly a humanitarian. And so it's my honor to stand here and have an opportunity to bring him up. He's responsible for so much, and hopefully he'll talk at least about one of those things that he's done on behalf of this initiative. So please join me in welcoming the Majority Whip for the Ohio Senate, Senator Jay Pottinger.
Good morning. You know, one of the common themes that many of us up here have is faith, and I'm also a person of faith. And John alluded to this, but a pastor in my hometown of Newark several years ago put me together with now a good friend, Ray Jones. And Ray then put me together with John Pace, and then John put us together with Buster. And so it's interesting how we all interconnect in different ways. Let me just tell you, so I was in college on February 11th, 1990. It's the greatest single sporting event that I will have ever witnessed and probably will ever witness in my life. I will never forget that night, that fight, what I was doing. And then the aftermath of that. I was so excited. So I was at Capital University as a student, John, but I didn't have HBO at Capital, so I went home in Newark, watched the fight with some family members, and of course with Buster being a hometown guy, I couldn't wait to go get a copy of the Columbus Dispatch the next day. I wasn't involved in politics at that time, so I didn't understand news deadlines and stuff like that, and so it was a late night fight. But I went and picked up the Columbus Dispatch, nothing on the front page. And I thought, well, that's really odd. Went to the front page of the sports section, nothing on the front page of the sports section. So I was really befuddled then. Flipping through about page 7 or 8 of the sports section, there was an article on Mike Tyson's upcoming fight against Evander Holyfield. And the only mention of Buster Douglas in his hometown newspaper the day after the fight is basically a little aside in the Tyson article that said, oh, and by the way, Mike Tyson had a tune-up fight in Tokyo, Japan against James Buster Douglas. That's how big of an underdog Buster Douglas was. Now then the following day, great spread and front page on the Columbus Dispatch. But the odds were just so phenomenal. John shared with me a story, I think it was John that shared this story with me, that there was also a reporter, this isn't Pick on Reporter Day, but there was a reporter from the Cleveland Plain Dealer, and he was there in Tokyo, and he was going through customs, and they asked, what are you doing here? And he says, I'm here for work. And they said, how long are you going to be working? He said, about 60 seconds. And so everybody knew what a huge underdog Buster was. And to be able to win that fight at 42-1 odds is not just the greatest boxing upset in history, but one of the top 4 or 5 in all sporting event histories. And what I love is that we are celebrating, it's long overdue, we're celebrating Buster Douglas. The Ohio Senate in the last few weeks passed the James Buster Douglas 42-1 odds day. And that resolution now is pending in the Ohio House, and we need to make certain we get that across the finish line, that we're able to observe the 30th anniversary as James Buster Douglas 42-1 odds day. A couple things about that. When John and the team reached out to me, they didn't want it to be James Buster Douglas 42-1 odds day. They asked for it to be 42-1 odds day. And I thought that we should obviously honor Buster as well. So we added that in the legislature. But so this is kind of a twofer. One, we are long overdue, the entire state of Ohio coming together saying we are recognizing a native champion, and it's long overdue. And so that's what the first thing that the resolution does. But equally as important, and Buster would probably say more important, is that we are celebrating all Ohioans who have a 42-1 odds that they're overcoming. And there are thousands, tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of Buckeyes, Ohioans, who are overcoming and trying to overcome 42-1 odds. And Buster, since that, knockout 30 years ago, has dedicated and devoted so much of his life to philanthropy, to helping, those individuals that were previously incarcerated get re-entry, helping homeless families, helping children that are gifted children that come from broken homes. And so he has spent the balance of his life helping those individuals overcome their own 42-1 odds. And so that's what we're celebrating here on February 11th, 2020. That's the date of the 30th anniversary and the resolution. So that's what we're going to be celebrating, is Buster's Day and all those Ohioans who are overcoming their great odds. I want to also recognize, I don't know if he stepped out, but my colleague Herschel Craig, Senator Herschel Craig, was in the room. The governor was with us earlier. The governor was at another event, came over. He's had to leave. Governor still here? Governor had to leave? I think the governor's had to leave. But it's also my great privilege now to introduce to you a former Senate president, another public servant that's done great things in the state of Ohio, and is currently our state auditor, Keith Faber.
Thanks, everybody. It's great to be here. I'm just real briefly, at the time, Buster, when you won that great championship, I was also a student here at Ohio State. As somebody who was raised by a single mom, my own 42-1 odds were that I never thought I'd get to go to law school. And I was here in law school when we gathered around a TV and watched that great victory. That message is resounding to men and women, boys and girls all over Ohio. That's the message of today, is that you can. And that together we can all do better. And that's the message that I'm here to celebrate with this message and the Archie Griffin. All of those things are what is making this city, this state, such a great place to live, work, and raise a family. There is nobody who can't. We all can. And that's the message that I'm really, really excited that you're promoting. And let's go forward and make sure we get that message to as many young people. You're changing lives. God bless you. One of the other things that's really cool about being state auditor is I get to audit and certify things. So I am hereby certifying Buster Douglas as a great Ohio hero.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're about at the end, and we greatly appreciate your patience. 42-to-1 stories, as Senator Pottinger said, it's what we are all about. And Senator, I've heard part of your 42-to-1 story, and boy, is it moving. I can't wait until we can put it up on the platform for everyone to be inspired and encouraged. 42-to-1 stories, gosh, none bigger than the man we are about to bring up. And he is a legend, not just because of what he did on the field for 4 years at The Ohio State University. I think the first freshman to ever play for the great Woody Hayes. But what he's done since his career off the field. And I dare say that Ohio, Columbus, would not be what it is today, and I don't believe I'm overstating that, without the man we're going to hear from next. So please, please, please join me in welcoming Mr. Archie Griffin.
Thank you, John. I only wish my mother and father were still living, because I'm sure they're the only ones who believe all those nice things he just said about me. But good morning, and I want you to know it's wonderful to be here today to just share a few thoughts honoring this great champion. Growing up as a kid in the Linden area, we all knew Buster's dad, Bill Dynamite Douglas, and the important work he did in the ring and helping train young people in the sweet science of boxing. Back in my day, there was a great generation of boxers that came from Columbus, and many of them became outstanding boxers by training right here in Columbus, and certainly Jerry Page is certainly one of those. But to me, that's why it's so fitting that Buster pays forward by working with young people every day at Thompson Recreation Center. The story of Buster Douglas is one that is rooted in the Buckeye State. We're lucky enough to long have been a state of champions, a place where success in sports and life is fulfilled by so many like the champ. The reason we're still here today talking about Buster's 42-to-1 upset of Iron Mike Tyson is because it transcended sports. Buster's victory in the ring that afternoon in Tokyo was nothing less than the triumph of the human spirit. It touched all of our lives by showing us that nothing is impossible when you possess iron will and great determination. Reflecting back on that day some 30 years later, I see those rounds as a window into Buster's soul, the revelation of his true character. The champ showed us what he was made of that afternoon and continues to show us in a different way what he's made of today through his work with young people. I'm proud to call him a friend, and certainly delighted to serve as an honorary chair for the event in February. Thank you very much, and God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you. Coach, I call him Coach John Johnson, reminds me daily of the importance of teamwork. And of course, Coach is a protege of the great Woody Hayes. And so, thank you, Susan, for reminding me. Susan Walters has been instructing me today, and I thank you, Susan. She reminded me to point out one of the team members who's been doing so much work for the past couple of 3 months, and that is the students from the practice. That is the student-run PR firm at The Ohio State University. Wave your hands, Brooke, and your team. So we're not giving it lip service when we talk about education, economic development, and diversity. So we haven't talked about February 7th as an event, It is going to be a lot of fun. We have national folk coming in to join with us. And let's just hear from one of them now. We have a partnership with ESPN. And so let's look and see what ESPN is going to send us for February 7th.
February 11th, 1990, at the Tokyo Dome, James Buster Douglas, Columbus's own, fashion practically his upset in the history of sports, knocking out Mike Tyson, becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. On February 7th in Columbus, at the Hyatt Regency, to celebrate the 30th anniversary of that historic event, we will be screening 42-1, playing 30 for 30 documentary about that achievement, co-directed by myself and my colleague Ben Hauser. We'll be joined by James Buster Douglas himself, and we'll look back at that remarkable night in Tokyo 30 years earlier.
So it's time for audience and media participation, right? Audience and media participation. Let me challenge you to do what Mike Tyson could not do in round 10, and that's stand up. Can we get you all to stand up? Because who we are bringing to the podium at this very moment let me bring to the podium at this very moment the world heavyweight champion, undisputed, the man who did what they said could not be done when they said he'd be lucky to make it out of the first round. He came back to Columbus, Ohio as a world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. James Buster Douglas.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here today. I'm looking forward to February 7th. It's going to be a great night of entertainment, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm just so excited. I went into the fight only to win, never knowing that it would come out to be something as spectacular as it has been over the years. But I just wish my mother and father was here to share this with me. But it's going to be a great night, great event, and I'm truly looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
All righty, thank you all for coming. Tickets and tables and sponsorships are available today. This is a fundraiser. It's a party with a purpose. Now, come on, give me 2 seconds, right? Because this can't happen with just the people you see up here and me. So come on, in 3 seconds, all of our team members, join us. Come on, 3 seconds. You got 3 seconds to get down here. All of our team members, please. Please give them a hand. BuckeyeBusterDouglas.com. BuckeyeBusterDouglas.com. Send everyone there. Join us on February 7th. Thank you so much.